This is going to be a tutorial on how to make a 2D character talk in Blender. And what I use for the audio is just the opening audio from the episode of South Park, The Coon. I'm using a 2D character that I created of myself, so now you all know what I look like in 2D format. Okay? I saved it on my desktop as Coon, and I just had it opened, so here it is. That's me. Now I've already done shape keys, which a shape key, if you're not aware, is when you have a mesh and you have a basis, which is just the default view, and then you add a shape key, and for instance, if you want to open up the mouth, you open up the mouth. Then you can change the values here, 1, 1, you can combine shape keys. So far for this, I've got lips tersed, which just brings lips in sort of, when you're like making an ooh sound. Mouth open, lips wide for when you're, talking louder. Eyebrows angry, blink. See, that makes the character blink. Creepiest one, eyes left, makes it looks like I'm looking at you. Eyes right, head back, head down, and eyebrows up for surprise looks. Now, to get this to animate, where you can use these keyframes, the first thing you want to do is you want to bring in the audio sequence. So you go to the video editing and you Shift A or spacebar if it works for you, and go to sound. Now I saved the Coon in, I think here. Yep, Coon MP3. Add sound strip. And you bring that to the first part. Start of frame 1. And I don't have any audio. Wonder why? Because I need to enable the MP3 codec. And there you go.
The city isn't.
Now it's a little loud and you're not going to be able to hear me speak while I'm doing this, so I'm going to go back to the video editing, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to go to volume and set it to 0.25. Made it a lot quieter.
The city isn't what.
Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go to the animation sequence. Now, this is where it starts to get a little tricky, because I want to select a face, and I want to go over here where it says Dope Sheet, and go up to Shape Key Editor. And you'll see all my shape keys are here. Now by clicking these, you're inserting a shape key into that frame. So on frame 1, I'm making all the shape keys default to 0. Now the thing is, what you want to do is when you get up to the audio, you want the mouth to open. Now it's pretty difficult doing this and timing it perfectly, so you want to also make sure that you have the AV synced down, so it syncs the video to the audio. Okay? So now, start at frame 50 and see if he's talking yet. He starts talking around frame 100. So we go to frame 100 and see.
The city.
See? So now, boom. I'm just going to change all these to default right there as well. I'm going to go back later, just, make a blink, do a few things like that, just to make it a little bit more realistic.
The city.
So now, his first word is the city. And now the best way to figure out how to do an animation is to actually speak out loud yourself and see how your lips actually move. So the city opens up your mouth 3 times. So watch this.
The city.
He ends the sentence at around frame 115, 110 to 112. Okay, so I go back to frame 100. Now if I'm only going up 3 frames, let's go 1, 2, and open up the mouth. Let's do 0.5. Ending at frame 108. This is probably going to be a little too quick.
The city.
Oh no, actually it looks pretty good.
The city.
So now if I start here, back further.
The city is.
Now there's really no lip motion on this, that's why I have, the terse, lips wide, blinking, eyes right and stuff, just, to give it a little bit more of a realistic feel.
The city.
So now I go back here. I'm going to zoom in so I can actually see all my keyframes. opposite T.
City is. The city is.
You can always move these around one by one, just to, get it closer to what he's actually saying.
The city.
That's why I just moved this from one frame over.
The city.
So now I want to go here, and lock it.
City isn't.
That should be a little bit further over. Take one more frame.
The city is.
When does it start saying isn't?
Isn't what? Isn't.
Right around here. So.
The city isn't what? The city. The city isn't what? The city isn't what it used. The city isn't what? City isn't what? The city isn't what? Isn't what? Isn't what? City isn't what? What it used. Isn't what it used to. What it used. What it used.
You can always grab a keyframe and duplicate it, bring it over.
What it used to.
It's actually really just duplicating the shade key.
The city isn't what it used to.
And it looks kind of, it doesn't really line up right.
The city isn't what it used.
It's the what part.
What it used.
So, take this, bring it over.
Isn't what it used to be.
So,
The city isn't what it used to be.
still off a bit. So let's go like this, bring it back one, bring these back one.
Isn't what it used to be. The city isn't what it used to be.
Okay, that's the basics of it. I mean, I don't think you want to sit here and see the entire, Kun MP3. It's a minute long, and that would take me a really long time to get them out. Keyframes set, line it up perfectly, then output the audio and video together.
The city isn't what it used to be.
So what I'm going to do is, just real quick, I'm going to make them blink. Well, I'm sure you can figure it out by now. And if I go back, let's say, because it starts here at frame 0, let's go to 10, where's blink? Now when you blink, you blink pretty quick. I gotta get back to, let me just make this a little bigger. So now that he's at this frame right here, I want to make him blink. You don't want him to do it too slowly. So you go like that. Now watch. It's a blink. Now I know that when I made the blinking key out of there, you accidentally pulled this part over a bit, but
The city isn't what it used to be.
okay. And that's the basics of it. So now that you know how to do that, you can go in and take any 2D character and animate them the same way. If you have a rigged armature where you can move the mouth around, you can do that as well. And just make sure you line it up to the audio and hit AV sync, so that way it stays synchronized. There's also a few things, that you can add to it. You can make the head move back, down, just to give it a more realistic feel. Now the thing is, though, when you do the animation, you have to understand, if I press F12 here, I made the back a green screen. When you do your output, you want to make sure that you still have MP3 selected and whatever frame you want to end at. Now this is very important. Now I'm going to end the frame here at 160. And then I'm going to output the video along with the audio to my desktop. So that way it combines the audio and the video together when you do the editing, but you need to make sure, and this is very important, that you have the sequencer checked. If you don't have the sequencer checked, it won't include the audio in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and render this output very quickly. I'm going to stop this video and combine my next part of the tutorial with this video using Blender. I just don't think it's fair to the viewers to sit here and watch 160 frames render, because it may take a bit of time. So bear with me, and once I'll show you how to combine these two together, and then you can overlay a green screen in the background. Okay. Now what I did was, after I rendered the frame at 0 to frame 1 to 160, I also went and took the first 13-second excerpt from the episode of the Coon, just so I can show you the green screen layered background using video. So, like I said, I can't get the plugin to work in 2.5 for whatever purpose, so I'm going to use Blender 2.49. Okay? First, just delete the cube, delete the light. You don't need it. You have the camera there. Just, Control Alt 0 to make the camera view. Select the camera for the default, then go to sequence. Now, one of the good things about Blender 2.49 that I've found is Movie Plus Audio HD. It doesn't just automatically do it. It does it automatically in 2.5. I just like having it separated. So Movie Plus Audio. Now I saved both of the files on my desktop, so I'm going to go to my desktop, and there's my first rendered output that I made that contains both audio and video overlaid from the Coon. Go here, put it to frame 1. Now it looks a little squished. That's because my size here doesn't match up with the video's dimensions. So I'm going to select my FFmpeg codec, go to video. I'm going to make it H.264 like I had in the other one. Give it a preset. Preset's H.264, but it's the AVI with the H.264 codec. Audio, make sure it's MP3. Format, I have it 1920 by 1080 for high definition, 1080p. Now if you look, it changes it to look exactly the way the output video is. And it's combined.
The city isn't what it used to be.
See? Now just make sure you end it at frame 160, just like you did on the output before. So now the tricky part. What we want to do is we want to also bring in the excerpt that I made of the Coon AVI, which is just the first 13 seconds. It's a little too long for this, but either way it's going to end it at frame 160. Okay? Which is right here. Right there. That's where it's going to end. So now we need to make these two combine. So I don't have a green background, I have this as the background. Now if you look at the Coon beginning, first part of it's actually black. So I'm going to start it behind frame 1, just so I have something to play with. Okay. Now I'm going to select the AVI part, which is here, and I'm going to select Shift right mouse select the Coon AVI, Shift A, add plugin, go to desktop, and go to the green screen plugin wherever you saved it. That's where I saved mine. Select plugin, and there you have it. Now again, just like before in my last tutorial, well, first let me just give my output to my desktop. Let me name it something else. I'm going to call it compilation. Enter. Get rid of all these because you're not going to need them. Make sure you have these sequence selected. Okay. So now back to here. Remember how we had the green screen before? These are where all the settings are. Green screen 1.3, check IB buff, and there you go. Now, I obviously have a little bit of pixelation going on. You can fix that, by changing some of these settings to give it a much cleaner feel. But, if I was to animate it,
The city isn't what it used to be.
it's not synced. Automatic keyframe insert. I don't remember where the sync feature is. Oh, there it is. Sync it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to output this video, and that'll be the finishing video in this tutorial that ends the entire thing. I'm going to put it all together just, using whatever video combiner that I want. But, yeah. Comments, ratings are appreciated. Let me know what you think.
The city isn't what it used to be.